Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to our meeting opening ceremony, our 6 o'clock Palm Springs Unified School District regular meeting. I will now call the meeting to order. Before I do that, we will allow our people that need translation, I will offer devices. Would you like to do that, Superintendent?
Sí, buenas noches. Cualquier persona del público que necesita audífonos, si nomás nos avisan y se los vamos a dar.
Okay, so I will call the meeting to order. Can I get a roll call, please?
Board Member Irvin?
Here.
Board Member Girardi?
Here.
Board Member Espericueta?
Here.
Board Clerk Cornett?
Here.
Board President Jarrell?
Here.
And today we have Student Board Member Jauregui
Here.
and Student Board Member Gonzalez.
Here.
Thank you. Would you please stand to salute the flag led by Monica Borrego?
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Barragan will now read the mission statement in English and Spanish.
All members of Palm Springs Unified School District are united in our commitment to equity. We create deep, meaningful learning opportunities, build professionalism, and engage parents and community to ensure success for all students. All students graduate with the skills, capacities, and confidence needed to succeed in a rapidly changing world. Todos los miembros del Distrito Escolar Unificado de Palm Springs estamos unidos en nuestro compromiso con la equidad. Creamos oportunidades de aprendizaje profundas y significativas, creamos profesionalismo e involucramos a los padres y a la comunidad para garantizar el éxito de todos los estudiantes. Todos los estudiantes se gradúan con las habilidades, capacidades y confianza necesaria para tener éxito en un mundo de cambio rápido.
Muchas gracias. Thank you. All right. Next, report of closed session. Clerk Cornett, are there any closed session actions? Oh, I'm sorry, land acknowledgement. Thank you, Board Member Irvin.
Yes, so the Palm Springs Unified School District acknowledged the Cahuilla as the original stewards of the land of which Palm Springs Unified School District facility now sits. We are grateful to have the opportunity to work with indigenous people in this place. We pay respect to the Cahuilla people, past and present, and emerging, who have been here since the time immemorial.
Thank you. Number 7, the report of closed session actions. Clerk Cornett, are there any closed session actions to report?
There are no closed session action items to report.
Okay, thank you. Board, can I get a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And I'm abstain. Thank you.
Abstain? Okay.
I also abstain. I wasn't here at the last
From the
meeting.
approval of the agenda?
Oh, no. sorry.
Tonight's agenda.
Yeah,
Should we ask for a vote again?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, sorry.
Can I get
I
a
confused
motion
with
to
amendment,
approve
yeah,
the
sorry.
agenda as presented for this evening, right? All right.
Then I seconded.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
So with this, I would really like to focus on our student board members and give them a round of applause, please. And the reason we applaud them is because Diego is new to our school board as a student board member, and Philip is back for a second year, and this is their first board meeting. And they, in this board meeting, have a preferential vote. So their voices are to be heard tonight. So this is really special that y'all came out tonight to see them shine with us, okay? Thank you. Also, we are now looking at public comment, number 9. Clerk Cornett, have we received any email comments?
Received any email comments?
All right. Do we have anyone in the audience who would like to speak to the board and fill out a yellow card? We have them in the back of the room, or our assistant, Ms. Barragan, can help. Anyone? Borrego, sorry. Okay, looks like we have no comments from the public tonight. So, our number 10 is a special recognition, and we're going to recognize and commend the Employees of the Month for September 2024. So before we go down to bring our employees out, we're going to watch 2 videos. That's right. Are you getting any benefit?
We nominated Teresa Farnland as Employee of the Month. She is a fifth grade teacher here at Julius Corsini Elementary. Teresa is super enthusiastic, energetic, and she is such a relationship builder. She has built such wonderful relationships with her students, her families, the staff. She really cares about everyone and getting to help the students as best as she possibly can. Teresa is a lifelong learner. She always is looking for ways to best meet the student's need. If a
I
student
don't
is
even know her
struggling,
middle
she will
name.
go and research and try to find the best way to reach that student in order to help that student be successful.
Whoops. We'd like to welcome up and honor Certificated Employee of the Month for September 2024, Teresa Foreman from Julius Corsini Elementary School. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Would you like to say anything?
No. This is very grown up and very intimidating. I don't think that I do anything special. I love my kids. I love my school. My admin is amazing, and all the teachers that are there just make it a great place to work. That's all I can really say right now.
Thank you. Stay up there. Tim, take your picture.
Come over here.
And next one is for classified employees at the month. For September 2024 is for Cynthia Cisnero. Congratulations, Cynthia.
Thank you.
Anything you want to say for your family?
Good evening. I really want to thank every board member here, the school district itself, for allowing me to have this opportunity. Our principal, our teachers at Julius Corsini, thank you for helping me shape up to being the best that I can be at our site and being a team player. And most of all, I want to thank my family for supporting me every step of the way.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
And next, our student board members will come over. So tonight is Julius Corsini night, and we are so excited, and our student board members will help us with inviting first Ayana Guerra up from Julius Corsini. Ayana. Philip, do you want to put that on her? And here's, would you like to read this and tell everyone how special she is?
This certificate is awarded to Ayana in recognition of their extraordinary commitment to hard work, dedication, perseverance, and exceptional academic excellence at Julius Corsini Elementary School during the 2024-2025 school year.
Do we have a nominating teacher or someone that wanted to speak about her? Come on up. This is the good part.
So I've known Ayana since last year. She wasn't my student. We found each other through Miss Williams, the reading teacher. And Ayana was put in my path, and her and I had a connection before she was even my student. We watched her grow and overcome so many things that is just a little before her years, and she every day gives her hardest. She tries. She's so positive. She's happy. She has so many friends, and she really is just thriving. And she's just gonna be amazing. And I'm lucky to be her teacher.
Go ahead.
Okay, so somewhere we did the other photos, we're gonna have 3 more people on this side.
So next, we're going to invite Belen Perales, and these are our parents. Cindy Perales up here to be congratulated for their hard work. And both of them are from Julius Corsini. And we'll let our student board members welcome them. Here, wanna start? And I'll do this one. All right, are you Cindy? Belen. Belen, here's Belen. Congratulations. All right, this is yours. Okay. All right, go ahead. Want to read this?
Yes, please. In recognition of their contributions to Palm Springs Unified School District through active participation, collaboration, and involvement in Julius Corsini Elementary activities and events during 2024 and 2025, this certificate of recognition goes to Belen Perales. Perales.
This certificate is awarded to Cindy Perales in recognition of their contributions to Palm Springs Unified School District through active participation, collaboration, and involvement in Julius Corsini Elementary activities and events during the 2024-2025 school year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So I just asked her, who nominated you? And so the person that nominated them, would they like to say a few words? Principal, come on back up. We have a very active school. Come over here. Get together. Come on. Here you go.
Thank you. Okay, so these lovely ladies have been some of the best parents that I've encountered. They've asked me if I needed things, and when I didn't get back to them, they came at me. They've loaded me down with so many necessities for my class, and their son, Angel, who is my student as well. They've been in my life since last year through ASB, and so just the massive support that they have for Angel, our school, and anything that we need, volunteers for field trips, they're just so willing to do what it takes to make Angel's school experience, but in doing that, they fulfill so much more for the rest of our school. So thank you so much.
Yeah, Monica.
Congratulations, everyone from Julius Corsini. And tonight, we then continue with our student board member report. And our student board members will be presenting from Mount San Jacinto, student board member Diego Hakai, right? Hakai, and Rancho Mirage student board member Philip Gonzalez. And first, we'll invite Diego to share what he is to bring to the board.
This is the student report for the for both of the MSJ and the EWIC campuses. The 2025 Senior Sunrise at Mount San Jacinto in the Cathedral City had a very good 20 student turnout. I hear it was very fun for all that attended. The 2025 Senior Sunrise that was held at EWIC was also quite a good turnout of about 15 students. I am unaware as to how that one went for the students. The MSJ Cathedral City campus had a really good victory, dual victories against Amistad. That game was quite energetic to watch. And the EWIC campus is sadly the only one out of the pairs that have a Spirit Week happening for this month's Hispanic Heritage. And by the looks of it, it's quite fun. And sadly, that will be, actually, I'm so sorry. I have one more thing to present. Principal Seipel was also awarded a check for about $8,000 due to the fact that Mount San Jacinto has been one of the best schools attendance-wise this year. With an attendance of almost 90% or better. And that will be all for the student report for Cathedral City and EWIC, Mount San Jacinto campuses. Thank you.
Thank you, Diego. Next, we'll invite Philip from Rancho Mirage High School.
Hi, okay, so this is the Rancho Mirage High School report for September 24th, 2024, with a focus on attendance and preparedness. Starting off with attendance. So currently our students are at a 95.13 attendance rate, and last year we ended off with a 91% attendance rate. With the help of Dr. Amir, our teachers, administrators, staff, and MTSS, our students are being awarded high attendance awards at 95% or higher, which were passed out today, actually. To boost a sense of belonging on campus, our teachers sent out emails and made positive phone calls to our parents to help create a more positive environment at Rancho Mirage High School, and also helped increase our attendance. To boost our school spirit on campus, we have various programs, including our dance team, cheer team, and band perform at our pep rallies. We also have our fall sports that help with our attendance, including our football team, volleyball team, girls golf, boys and girls cross country, boys water polo, girls tennis, and also our newly addition girls flag football. We also had our semi-annual club rush, which allows our students to view the different clubs, academies, and different courses offered at Rancho Mirage High School. And we also had an appearance from our Riverside County Sheriff Department. And now moving on to preparedness. We have our math lab. Our math lab provides our students with tutoring after school, but uniquely, it is run by our own students. It helps, this concept allows for our students to help each other out and be able to see the math at a different perspective besides from our teachers. And then moving on to our Scholar Lab. Our Scholar Lab recognizes the scholars on campus to provide them with a club after school to help them help others achieve their own goals. And it also encourages our students to build a positive environment as well, and it also helps with their CASP tests. And we also have the Coachella Valley College and Career Fair coming up on October 9th. It's at Agua Caliente, but our administrative team has been encouraging our students to be able to register and attend this fair. Rancho Mirage High School stresses the importance of having a plan after high school, and they really like to show that it's not the end after high school, but it's the beginning of a new chapter. On August 29th, 2024, at 11:15 a.m., we held our first fire drill to ensure that our students are prepared in case of a fire. on October 17th, 2024, we will be participating in the Great California Shakeout at 10:17 a.m. to help prepare our students in case of an earthquake. And also in each classroom, we have red folders to be able to have our emergency plans and ensure that our teachers and students are prepared for any emergency that may occur. And we also have our ALICE training, which our faculty is currently and our students in the near future are starting to train just in case an emergency arises on campus. Our ALICE training stands for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, and Evacuate. And next, moving on to our student life. We have our wellness center established to help our students relieve their stress and anxiety throughout the day. They have been raising awareness for Suicide Prevention Month, and they've also encouraged our students to wear teal or purple on Wednesday, September 11th, and allowed our students to make and wear friendship bracelets. And now moving on to our school spirit, we had our Party in the USA football game, and we also provided our students with tickets to our 5th quarter dance at the end of the football game, which also helped build our school spirit and also build our attendance at the football games to be able to support each other. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Next, we'll continue number 13, board member comments. Would you like to commence? I'm sorry, the presentation, the facilities update. We just talked about that, and our superintendent will introduce our guest speaker.
Thank you, President Jarrell. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Mr. Adam Bauer. Mr. Bauer is with Fieldman and Associates. He's going to be providing or presenting to the board some background and new information on our current CFD. But to be clear, we're not asking the board to make any decision this evening. Simply, Mr. Bauer is going to be presenting the information and provide opportunity for any questions for the board. And then if the board needs additional information from us, we can provide that. Mr. Simmons will be bringing this topic forward at a future board meeting. But again, to be clear, no decision. This is simply informational and opportunity to have a Q&A with Mr. Bauer. So, Mr. Bauer, turn it over to you.
Great. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to present this evening. And so, as already been described, you have one community facilities district, and Riverside County is one of the areas that has the most in the state. San Bernardino second, Orange County, and then San Diego. So this region generally has a lot of these. And so the way we set up this presentation is we start off by just giving a general overview of why community facilities districts exist, and then I get into the specifics of an agreement that the school district has with a developer, and then also have some time for question and answers. But I encourage you to ask me any questions along the way. If there's something that I'm going to cover in pretty good detail that you've asked, I'd be happy to point you to that, but otherwise we can answer the questions along the way. And so our first section is, why do we even have community facilities districts, and talking about this versus just having it on the tax roll. Late 70s, California property values were growing rapidly. You heard stories, and in some cases when I have a longer presentation, I put a newspaper article up here, and there's a newspaper article about seniors getting forced out of their homes to pay taxes. And so that was changed when Prop 13 went into effect, and that limited increases in property taxes by 2% or CPI, the lesser of those two. And so that really slowed down spending on facilities, and also decrease the amount of money available for operations for school districts, and it made us from one of the best funded states for school districts to one of the poorest funded in the state. And so then in around 4 years go by, in about 1982, there's two state senators, Mello and Roos, and they were working with the government entities and developers, saying, now that we don't have the property taxes, how are we going to build infrastructure throughout the state of California? And that's when the Mello-Roos Act went in place. And the Mello-Roos Act, what that did was it allowed for the option with 2/3 vote to form a community facilities district, which is a special taxing district of a customized boundary. And typically what you have is these are formed by a owner before they've sold any individual homes. And so you typically have unanimous vote on these. And the theory is that homeowners vote before they buy the home. So they vote, they get disclosed the taxes, and hopefully they're doing their due diligence, and they've read that and know that there's special taxes on the property. And that is a requirement of the developer. It's in your goals and policies, and it's also a legal requirement that the developer has. And so that really gets to kind of why we have Melrose, but we also haven't got into why a school district like you would want to do it. And I'm going to start to get into that. So the statutory fee structure is a state, your level 1 is a statewide calculation. If you meet the requirement and you satisfy the conditions needed, you can collect a level 1 fee. So it's not customized to your needs. You have a very expensive area to live, and also school construction has gone up quite a bit. The intent of this statutory fee structure was that the state would fund 50-50. Once again, this is formula driven, oftentimes has a lag. It doesn't take things like interim facilities and places where students are not housed into consideration. So the 50% match oftentimes is said to fund about 30 to 35%. So you have a statewide formula that says how much you're allowed to collect, which most districts feel is too little. And then you have a state formula that usually gets you about 30 to 35% of what's supposed to be 50. And so then what school districts have done to help mitigate that is they've used community facilities districts to say, developer, we'll consider putting a community facilities district on our property. You get a lot of benefit from that. I can go over those in a minute. But we need to get a benefit for our community as well. And so we require something in excess of statutory fees. I'm going to show you some of those numbers as we go. But when we formed this community facilities district, you as a 479, that was your mitigation amount, and then your fees were 344. So you can see the developer agreed to pay in excess of their statutory fees in exchange for you doing a community facilities district on the property. And so why do all these different entities get involved with community facilities districts? School districts, you're funding that funding gap I've talked about. The other thing is not only does the state fund you too little, it's oftentimes delayed. You have to wait for a state bond. So you might build a school and you're waiting for your, what should be 50, but it's a 35% match years. And you know how much school inflation has been. So that's really what we're trying to satisfy there and why districts do this. The next thing is you can customize the boundaries. So you're not saying, hey, we have a new development, let's tax our whole community to take care of that new development. That new development is what's paying for it. So you have customized boundaries. When the time is right, you can do bond financings. And then there's, I'm going to talk about this in a bit, but there's also ongoing benefits you can get from these as well. So bond buyers that might buy these generally want some sort of cushion between the revenue and the principal and interest payment. That number is typically 10%. After bonds are sold, the district gets to keep that. If you only have one CFD, it doesn't really add up to much. But when you get to like a Riverside or a Moreno Valley or Valverde who have dozens of these, that pay-go adds up to, they wait till September 1st when principal and interest payments are done. September 2nd, they transfer that money out and they go to work with some of that pay-go money. Why do developers do it? One is they're able to market their homes at a lower price because they've lowered the cost burden. They've shifted that what would be upfront fees on their development to the future homeowners of the project. So generally has a lower cost to them. The other thing is these developers have to report their financials. When you have a community facilities district, it's tied to the land. And so they don't necessarily have to report this for the whole 30-year term. One more thing that I don't have on here that is helpful to developers. Developers can't borrow at tax-exempt rates. So like your GEO bonds, if the person who buys that lives within California, they get both the federal and state no taxes on that interest. These bonds work the same way. Developers can't get that. So if a developer goes to borrow, they're having to have a higher interest rate because those investors don't get that benefit. So homeowners get newer infrastructure. Generally, they get a lower home price because they don't have that burden baked in, and they have other homes in the region that they could buy often, especially in Palm Springs, that do not have Melrose or CFDs on them. And so generally you get a lower home price, a lower upfront cost to that homeowner. Special taxes are tied to land, so that homeowner is only paying for the special taxes while they live in that property. Generally, someone lives in a home about 7 years. So these might go on for 30, 35 years. That homeowner is paying for that 7 years. And that's what that last bullet point, only while you're owning the land. And so general overview, I think I've kind of hit on those types of things. I've covered most of these points, and so I'll just move on to the next slide. So now, well, before I go into the specifics of your community facilities district, is there any questions for me on generally why CFDs and any questions about those? No, okay. Great, so let's get to this next slide. This is the customized CFD for your district. We formed this in 2013. It was expected to be 141 units, and it still is expected to be that. You have a range of home sizes, anywhere from 1886 to 2,693. You can see there the initial special tax range, it escalates by 2% per year, with 621 to 1,514. If you look across the state, that is considered a pretty affordable load. Then I already talked about the increases. We generally have the team members, the developer, and also those who help form the community facilities district listed below. And then to the far right, you just get a general sense of square footage, because I've been quoting you, statutory fees have been all about square footage. That's your expected square footage at time of formation. Now, here's some details about what's gone on since 2013. 58 homes, which are those in the blue, have been built and I believe sold to individual homeowners. The red are about to be sold to D.R. Horton. They're going to close at the end of this month. One of the reasons why it's so important for us to be talking is D.R. Horton, when they buy, they build and sell. And so they will be before us in the near future. One of the things the mitigation agreement anticipated that was once building permits are issued for 71 of the 141, we would look at doing a bond sale. And there's benefits to both you and both the developer to doing that. But you see 58 closed. D.R. Horton's going to close October 30th. Sometime next year, they're going to hit their 71st permit. And so here's some of the mitigation terms.
I'm sorry. Can you go back to that slide? So we got the blue and the red accounted for. What's the uncolored?
Excuse me, I couldn't hear that.
We have the blue accounted for and the red accounted for.
Yes.
What about the lots that have no color?
They're not within the community facilities district.
So it's broken up like this?
Yeah, you can draw a boundary however you want to
Okay.
draw a boundary. And so then here, the mitigation terms is you have funds on hand from this project. So when that developer came in, instead of paying their level 1 fee or level 2, they had to pay their mitigation amount. That amount is held in deposit. What we're trying to do is if this developer came in and built 10 units and then skipped town, we're not just having to collect on those 10 units and hoping one day to be made whole on this. You would be able to draw down those funds on those 10 units. We're way past that. You have 58, but you have those funds on hand. Those funds need to get reimbursed to the developer when you sell bonds or you have special tax collections. And that's what this first bullet point is the developer has to post what we call the COC deposits, Certificate of Compliance, which is what you developer get a building permit. And then when the special taxes become available after paying admin, those special taxes refund the developer for that, or bond sales refund them. Now, the longer we wait to do this, the more special taxes we refund to the developer. If we sell bonds, we're then able to keep that surplus, because we've told investors we would have it for debt service if we needed it, and we will size so you don't, and then that money flows to the district. But if we don't sell bonds, we refund that to the developer. And so that's one of the important distinctions right now, is why it's important in the not now, it's too early now, but within the near future, be considering looking at doing a bond sale for this. And that's really what this is all getting at, all those other slides down here. But there's another really good point that I want to make sure I bring to your attention. Right now, that 430 has gone up to $7.05. So you've gone up substantially in your mitigation amount. That goes up by this statewide factor. The other thing, so we're essentially at about a 61% premium over what the statutory fees was. So you can see how that starts to help bridge that gap in state funding that we don't get. And then down below at that 479, you can see the calculations that we've done. And then essentially what we're showing you there is the upfront money, about $1.8 million, and then the ongoing pay-as-you-go funds. This CFD has something very few CFDs have. So the developer recognized that you don't do very many CFDs. And so they said, well, what if they don't ever want to sell bonds? And so one of the things they asked for was that reimbursement from special taxes if you don't sell bonds. So what we came back and said, okay, that's a fair request, but what we want to do is we want to recalibrate our mitigation amount later. So you got your mitigation amount when they pulled the permits, and now we get to ride all that escalation whenever we sell bonds up. And so now that you have a new level 1, I'm not sure if you've adopted your new level 1 yet, but the new level 1 fee went into effect at the beginning of this year. Before we'd sell bonds, we want to make sure you can capture that, and then we'll make sure that we have the highest amount you can for your mitigation, but it gets recalculated when we sell bonds. That is a really attractive feature that very few school districts get. So what happens with most is a district that has like 20 of these, the developers kind of know our process. They know when it gets to this level, we'll consider selling bonds, and then they pay their COC deposit, we reimburse that number, but we're locked on that day. Whereas this one setup is we're not locked until we sell bonds. And so let's just say one of those permits was pulled in 2013 and we collected $4.30, we'll now get $7.05. So that escalation rode all the way up until you sell bonds. But the trade-off for that with this developer was, if we don't sell bonds, they get to take the special taxes that we collect and start reimbursing themselves. So we got to find that perfect sweet spot, and that's why that 71 units was picked as our building permit number. So you're not obligated to do it, but then this other provision kicks in if you don't. And so that is 61% premium. That is why you deal with this hassle. That's why you're listening to me talk about these, is that you get a 61% premium over what you otherwise might have gotten from this development. Now, when I said this is possible schedule, if we choose to move forward at some point, there'll be a 3-page version of this that gets distributed to your staff. You'll get another version like this, but it's not ready yet. But when D.R. Horton buys, October 30th is what they say they're going to close. I think by March, they're going to have triggered that 71 units, and they're going to be moving forward with this project. So I'm estimating that somewhere around July would be a good time, and then closing the bonds sometime around this time next year might be a good time for bond closing. That's when you have your funds available. Just like your GEO bonds, you need to spend the money within 3 years, and then you just do the special tax collections, and you get your very small amount of surplus over time. So I went a little longer than I was expecting, but if there are specific questions on your mitigation agreement or CFDs as a whole, I'm happy to answer any of those.
I do. I guess I'm a little more than confused. But do developers pay both developer fees, and if we have a CFD fees, they pay both of them, or they just pay one or the other if we have a CDF area or district?
So if they pay the COC deposits, then if we were to sell bonds, and we had to sell bonds on more than just the developed properties, they would pay an undeveloped special tax. But that has not happened. Only parties that have paid on the special taxes are those who have had a building permit issued. And so that they might pay for 1 year, but then eventually that goes to the homeowner. But the developer will get reimbursed those COC deposits that they paid up front.
So does the district then collect developers' fees and the CDF fees both?
So temporarily, yes. So right now you have your COC deposits.
Right.
Right now you're levying the special taxes.
Okay.
When and if you sell bonds, you'll reimburse those COC deposits, and then you'll have your bond proceeds available to you.
Okay.
It's a security feature. What I'm really worried about, when developers roll into town, this is the best project, we're going to build it fast, and we're going to sell for the highest prices ever. And then when things go poorly, we're never going to build again. There's no middle ground with developers. And so in order to deal with that, we put this security mechanism that if they were to skip town after like 10 units, you could spend that money and use it for projects.
So is the COC deposit the developer fee that's refundable?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does that expire, that agreement?
It expires in a way. When you have special tax collections this year, and if to the extent there's any special tax collections left over after admin, which there will be, That money then gets used to reimburse the developer their COC deposits. That stops once you sell bonds. Then you get to keep the surplus.
But does the developer have unlimited time to meet their obligation?
I'm not sure.
So this is this is a guarantee deposit. The COC deposit, a guarantee of completion. I take it.
No, you will not let the city give them a building permit, or county, give them a building permit unless they post that COC deposit.
Right. So now, okay, so they post the COC deposit, and 15 years later, they haven't built anything. Does it expire?
They would be reimbursed. Well, they have built. So what they've built 58 units and closed those. The surplus special taxes after admin would go to replenish them. And when that ran to zero, when you fully replenish them, then you could keep it.
Okay, I guess I'm not stating my question correctly. Is there any time where the developer just forfeits the COC deposit if they don't meet their obligation?
No, because it is intended that you would the agreement's set up so that you would eventually come in and sell bonds on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bauer. We appreciate all your clarification. So we'll proceed with board member comments. Board Member Irvin, would you like?
Yeah, I'll start. I really don't have much,
John,
so
you wanna
I'm going to
start?
yield my time to my fellow board member Irvin because he has a whole narrative here that he wants to talk about.
All right. You're up first.
Thank you, John. So, I had an idea of what I was going to say prior to coming here. I took some wonderful trips. I've been to the Black Caucus, the foundation for in Washington, D.C., maybe 2 weeks ago. I also went to an equity conference here in Palm Springs. And so that was just something that just kept eating away at me. So I felt compelled to maybe talk about it. So like I said, I had a wonderful time and amazing time at the conference. At both of these national and regional conference, one thing just kept poking its head out at me, and that was a conversation around the N-word. I remember a couple of weeks ago at the APAC meeting, there was a topic, and they brought up this topic at parent check-in about the use of the N-word. And if you haven't had the opportunity, it's a wonderful parent group meeting for you guys to attend. It's on Zoom, it's once a month, and they give parents an opportunity to speak and also to hear the wonderful things that we have going on in our district. But one of the parents had a young student, and this young student was in elementary, and he or she was both disappointed, and they kind of seemed helpless. And so they said that their kids have heard this word and been called the N-word. And then shortly thereafter, a parent proceeded to say, I also have had my student called the N-word, followed by another parent. And so then I just kind of moved on with it. And then I got an email shortly thereafter from an employee in the district who also told me that there's a growing concern with the use of the N-word. And so you would think probably at that particular time that was enough. But then again here, I get my hands on a letter where students are giving other students the opportunity and a pass to be able to use the N-word on our campuses. And so as an African-American male, I don't have to tell you that this is definitely a not accepting word. And so it's hurtful, it's painful to people. And so I asked the district and the nation to be supportive enough to teach the history of African-American people in our school. And I wonder, are we getting that? And the answer is no. With the use of the N-word, listening to the student panel at the DRE conference, and young students of color feel unheard and unseen. Studies have shown that African American students improve academically as well as socially emotional with African American studies. So African American studies is something that I want to see in our elementary, our middle school, and our high school. New York City Public School has taken a step already, and I challenge our district. In 2024, New York City created what is called the Black Studies as a study of the world. We are a world-class district. We're innovative. We're a great district. We set the trend. We are equity-driven, and it's at the top of our list. It's time to do the right thing for our students and our parents. And that's all I want to say.
Board Member Espericueta.
Yes. Hi, good evening. First, I want to say it's thanks to the student board member Gonzalez and Jauregui for the great presentation. Thank you for everything that you do. And also, I want in the night 11 or September 11, I have the a invitation from the Agua Caliente Elementary coming from Principal Antuna and Christine Alaniz, the fourth grade teacher. And they don't tell me exactly what kind of conversation will be in the fourth grade classroom, but the student have they asked me many questions about my Spanish heritage, and many another question, how many children I have, what kind of food I like it, what kind of sport I like it to play, or watch. And then one thing that surprised me was the 100% of the students asked question, and more than one. That was very, I see that the school is doing good job because all the students feel confident to ask question. And then in the next, that one something was a Wednesday. Then in Friday, the night 13, the Agua Caliente have the Hispanic Heritage event with mariachi, ballet folklorico, but also one of the student for that classroom, he told about me, you know, talking in the front of the public with one description about myself, and I appreciate that. Thank you, the student, thank you, the teacher. And next day, then Saturday 14, I assisted to the parent Palosa at Cathedral City High School. They have different workshops. They have social media awareness for parents, ballet folklorico, promoting exercise, and awareness of drug issues in the Coachella Valley. That was facilitated by the Cathedral City Police Department. They had the Hill Academy. They have presentation from the Cathedral City Fire Department, the paramedic, explaining different techniques to start bleed or another techniques, and offering different programs that provide the Cathedral City for the general public. Also, in the 17, I had the opportunity to visit the Rancho Mirage Elementary School. They invited me also to read aloud a book in Spanish. I feel a little bit nervous the first time because it was a student from K to 2. I called Madonna to say what I had to do in the front of that student age. And she gave me ideas what to do. And the second group was 3 to 5. But the book was about the butterfly in your stomach in the first day at the school. But I was feeling that, and I explained the student. But when I start engaged with them, I start relaxing. And I had good experience. And since I don't did this before, and see Charlie doing many times, but I would be happy to continue doing those kind of uh, engagement with the student, reading the book. And thank you to the principal, Mr. Hagar, and Mrs. Susie Sandoval. This was the two that they invited me and made me to feel very welcome. And I want to come back to the school and the whole school in the school district. And in the 17, I started at the Rick restaurant to each time when I see like the board member doing the presentation about the school, the state of the school district, I learn something from here, and to prepare myself also to get to do my presentation in good shape, because I changed Mr. Red how you do the presentation, because you have everything in your memory. You take couple notes only, but you have good engagement with the. In this case, was for the Kiwanis Club and Palm Springs. Thank you for that. And that is it. Thank you.
Okay. I just want to thank Member Irvin for your thoughts and information. That was really quite something to think about. And I was able to attend the Riverside County Office of Education Equity Conference last Thursday and Friday. And I have to say congratulations to Dr. Nicole Crawford and her partner from Marietta, Tamara Dewey, for giving an excellent presentation on making schools a hate-free space. And they actually talked about the use of the N-word and the topic that you spoke about. So, and hers was one of the best presentations at the conference. It really was wonderful. I also was able to attend the Agua Caliente Hispanic Heritage Celebration, and I went to the Cathedral City High School Parent Palooza event, which were greatly attended by parents and really supported by our parents. At the Parent Palooza, they really talked about a lot of the programs at the school, and I went to the one and met our SRO officer there, Felix. He gave an excellent presentation on fentanyl and vaping. So I thought that was really well done. I did get to speak to the Kiwanis Club, and thank you for coming and supporting me, and also Joan and Dr. Signoret. It's always nice to go out into the community and talk to our community groups, and I went to support you that night. You talked to the Cathedral City Rotary. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Well, tonight I am just going to be brief and just kind of ride on the coattails of my fellow colleagues. Together, we see each other, we attend conferences and sessions, and we say in our district, lifelong learning starts here. And it continues throughout our lives, and we've learned this as we've been in our board member positions and working in the community. And so I see the news from Los Angeles and our ballet folklorico group dancing in the street for a celebration. I was so inspired one morning. I saw Jairo Armenta on the news with the dual immersion program, and the program there at 5:38 a.m. And I started to get dressed and get showered because I have to go see the kids dance. So we are so gifted across our district and fortunate, and I tell you that because I see it confirmed it's a special training for school board members and superintendents, and it's called Masters in Governance, and it's presented to us for 5 or 4 hour sessions via Zoom. And I'm in a cohort with 18 other people from across the state. And I am so proud to say how much this district is proactive, alive, works so hard. We are such ahead in so many ways. And so as I was talking about our district, the trust, the respect, the open communication, the confidence that we have as board members, knowing our roles, working together to help us on our outcomes, I told our my fellow colleagues, about our governance policies. And we govern as a team using this as our guiding manual. And so as I spoke about Palm Springs Unified, people were looking up the manual, and they were really excited to see all of our policies, how organized, how we govern. And I have to say I was so proud at that moment. That was really amazing to hear everyone say that they were so excited to see what Palm Springs has established. The other thing, real quick, is tonight I had a chance to stop and visit the funeral home of a student that recently passed away. She was 18 years old. We were at her graduation for Rancho Mirage High School, and I'm going to say her name. Her name was Mabel Alejandra Orozco Ramos, and she was 18 years old. And Mabel had a hat on graduation that said in gold letters, script, "If you only knew my story." And there at her casket was her cap and her gown from graduation. And Mabel was a fighter, and she was a person that I looked up to because of her desire to attain so many goals. She was ready to go to college with the desert, and this was a very special young person. And I just really think that we are so fortunate not only to have all of us, but our parents, our students, and our community. And in this collaboration and work, we are really making great decisions, and exciting times are coming for us all. So with that, I will stop and look to our student board members. And I'll recycle back to maybe Philip first. If there's, oh, you would like to go first? Diego, go ahead.
I wanted to give a really big thanks to the cafe, that works here in the Palm Springs Unified School District, not only in all the school campuses, but in definite particularity, the one that works right here in the offices. They produce probably hundreds of meals a day for all the employees here, and I have to say that tiramisu is quite something. Really good stuff, and I'm really grateful to be a part of this team. You can go.
I had the opportunity to, on Wednesday, before board member Espericueta, I was able to meet with Christine Alanis as well at Agua Caliente Elementary School, and I was able to talk to some of the students over there. They kind of asked me questions about my leadership experience as a board member in the ASB program, just as my years building into high school. So it was a really great opportunity, and I was also working with her to see if all of the board members would be able to go to the school site to be able to talk to the students, just so they have a different perspective instead of always listening from teachers themselves or administrators, just adults in general, and be able to see it from a student perspective and ask us questions as well. And I also wanted to say a great thank you because we attended the CSBA student governance training. It was a Zoom online, and it was really informational. They broke down the different responsibilities that we have as board members, and they also trained us on the Brown Act and like the dangers that can come with it, the consequences, and just to be aware of specific scenarios and what the Brown Act is. So thank you.
Okay, board member Kern.
Yeah, I just wanted to say both of you gave excellent reports tonight. I think we forgot to say that to both. You did a really great job. Thanks.
Superintendent report.
Thank you, President Terrell. Yes, I also want to echo Philip, Diego, great job. Wonderful presentations this evening. One little clarification, that check didn't go directly to Mr. Seipel. Hopefully nobody felt that way, but it's going to you guys. So, but Mr. Seipel, his leadership, but also the efforts of all the students of MSJ and EWIC. It was all a collaborative effort, so big tribute to you guys as well for getting that check. Also want to acknowledge Mr. Irvin in your comments. I know that takes lot of fortitude and not easy to make those comments, as well as the APAC parents that brought that forward. I was also present with both Ms. Irvin and Ms. Cornett during the equity conference when we were at the session on this topic. Definitely resonates loudly. There's absolutely no room for any type of hate speech. I don't have an answer for you exactly how we're going to address it. What I will reassure you is that with our leadership team, we'll collaborate and work on this because again, it's not an issue that we can ignore, nor are we going to shy away from. So we'll definitely follow up on that. I do want to just highlight, as far as our TLC visits, I just wanted to share with the board that since our last board meeting, we wrapped up our secondary visits. Since then, our team has visited 12 elementary sites. So we combine that with the secondary. In these few weeks, we visited approximately 125 classrooms this month. And it's really given us a wonderful perspective of the outstanding work of our kids, our staff, just great work all around. So just want to give kudos to all of the efforts on our campuses. In particular, I want to mention one student, out of respect of his privacy, I won't mention his name, but his second grade student in Miss Holmquist's class at Bowling Wells. We were put to the task of reading with the kids, and I got with this one little boy, and I was able to, he read to me, White Rabbit Looking for a Friend. And he did a great job, his emotion and how he was reading. Just a real kudos to Ms. Holmquist and her students. I even got to sign off his reading log as a friend. So that was really cool to do. We wrap up our first round of TLC visits this week at Rancho Mirage Elementary, Cathedral City, and Della Lindley. And then we'll have 2 more rounds of TLC visits during the course of this year. Speaking of school visits, excited to do our tour with the board this coming Friday at Two Bunch Palms, Ewick, and Corsini. I know some of you may be joining us a little later, but excited to have you there. I know the principals, staff, and students are excited and looking forward to the visit. Also want to highlight tomorrow and invite anybody that's either here or listening tomorrow, right here in this boardroom. Do the Right Thing Awards will be hosted here. Looking forward to that. This event has had a huge impact on our kids, and so we're very glad to host that. Also, during tomorrow's ceremony, we're going to announce our partnership with Do the Right Things, as well as the Firebirds for our State of the District event on October 17th. So both Do the Right Thing and the Firebirds. As a matter of fact, Fuego should be there with us during the presentation. Also, a partnership with anti-bullying with the Firebirds. So we'll be announcing that. So just want to share that with the board, and excited to make that announcement tomorrow with Do the Right Thing. And speaking of anti-bullying, just a reminder, our wonderful event with Buddha Bowling kickball game will be this Saturday. And if you want to see and be amused by our lack of athletic skills, my lack of athletic skills, I'm sure Mr. Hill, Dr. Kovach will be outstanding. They'll be on the team as well. But it should be a lot of event. But it's for a wonderful cause in Buddha Bowling, which is really working hard to eradicate bullying at all levels. So that's the end of my report.
Thank you so much. So next, we'll look at 16 board action items. 16A is the approval of certificated and classified employee transactions, OE 4.4. And Mr. Clayton Hill will introduce our new appointment.
Okay, good evening, Board President Jarrell, esteemed board members. It's my pleasure to recommend Rebecca Fishman for the position of Assistant Principal, James Workham Middle School. So, Ms. Fishman, if you could please join me. Ms. Fishman earned her bachelor's in music at Columbia College in Chicago. She earned her master's in music and music education from Columbia University in New York. Ms. Fishman earned her master's in educational administration and administrative service credential from Cal State San Bernardino. In 2018, Ms. Fishman began her career in education as a music teacher here in Palm Springs Unified School District. During this time, she also served as the elementary music department chair. In 2023, she accepted the position of assistant principal in the Coachella Valley Unified School District. Ms. Fishman has training and experience in running a school-wide PBIS program, facilitating restorative practices with a focus on including all educational partners to support the success of students. Ms. Fishman's supervisor, Valerie Perez, stated that, quote, Ms. Fishman is dependable, dedicated, and eager to learn. She is always ready to take on a challenge. Her future is filled with many possibilities, and she will thrive in all she does. So welcome to Ms. Fishman, if you would like to address the board, and feel free to introduce anybody who's here in the audience.
First of all, I'd like to thank all of the board members, Board President Jarrell, and everyone else, along with Executive Cabinet, for the opportunity to come back to Palm Springs Unified and serve in an administrative capacity. I'm very excited to be back. And I'd like to say thank you to my mom and my fiance and my mother-in-law for being here to support me. And I'm very excited to be back where I started my career. So thank you for having me.
So can I get a motion to approve the following employment agreement? Employment agreement with Rebecca Fishman, Assistant Principal for James Workman Middle School, salary schedule 202, column 1, step 3. Effective date is to be announced or decided.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
I
Thank
abstain.
Abstain.
Okay. We look at 16B, the approval of assignment monitoring and review SB 435, 24-25 school year, which is OE 4.4. Can I get a motion to approve item 16B?
I move the motion for approval.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, looking at 16C, we look at approval of amendment to resolution to board policies 7214, general obligation bonds. Can I get a motion to approve item 16C?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Yes, so, okay, Diego and Philip, just to remind you that when we vote, you're included, okay? We want you to chime in.
They have been saying.
They have been?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So we're looking at 16D, approval of amendment to resolution number 2024-2025, approval to award contracts for emergency repairs of Palm Springs High School Stadium, OE-6. Can I get a motion to approve 16D?
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
I just
Motion
have a
passed.
question. Is any of this paid for by our insurance?
Good question. Actually, yes. So it will, a large portion of it, exactly how much I don't know. But yes, there will be a claim with insurance to recover some of this money.
Thank you.
Did we pass it?
Yes.
Okay, we passed it. Thank you. Next, the adoption of resolution number 2024-2511, Proposition 2, kindergarten through 12th grade schools and local community college public education facilities modernization, repair, and safety bond act of 2024, which is OE 12.12. Can I get a motion to approve item 16E?
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The adoption of resolution number 2024-25-12, the approval to award contracts for emergency repairs of Cielo Vista Charter School sewer system, OE6. So can I get a motion to approve item 16F?
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
16G is the approval of a change order with FEC Electric for the Cathedral City High School and Desert Hot Springs High School field lighting projects, which is agreement number C0004838, OE 12.13. Can I get a motion to approve 16G?
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. 16H is an approval of a change order number 1 with FEC Electric Incorporated for the Rancho Mirage High School lighting field lighting project. Agreement COO 48390 OE 12.313. Can I get a motion to approve item 16H?
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll look at 16I, 16J, and 16K in one vote. So the approval of expulsion cases 2425-00-001, 2425-002, and 2425-003, the recommendation and findings of fact and conclusion of law, OE 11. Can I get a motion to approve items 16I through 16K?
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
I abstain.
So, as we look ahead, we look to approve all of these superintendent consent items, which is 17A through 17M. So you can all see that A is the approval, acceptance of gifts. Do you have any comments along the way? Just stop, or at the end you can, we can revisit these. The approval of purchase order report, 17B. C is the approval of agreements under $10,000. D is the approval of agreements $10,000 or more. 17E, the approval of disposal of surplus property report. 17F, the approval of change order number 1 with C&M Painters for Rancho Mirage High School and VDM painting projects. G is the approval of change order with Western State Builders for the Julius Corsini Elementary metal shade structure. And 17H, the approval of a change order with Desert Concepts for the Cielo Vista Charter restroom building and shade structure. And 17I, the approval to file the notice of completion with C&M Painters for bid number 09-24, Rancho Mirage High School and BDM summer painting projects. J, the approval to file a notice of completion with Desert Elite Electric and Construction Incorporated for bid number 23-24-07 and a sewer main project at Cielo Vista Charter. K is the approval of the notice of completion of Western State Builders for the Julius Corsini Elementary metal shade structure. And L is to authorize the issuance, approval to authorize the issuance of an invitation to bid the transitional kindergarten project at 11 elementary school sites. M is then the approval of a new job description, a certified wellness coach 1. So we're looking to approve superintendent consent items 17A through 17M. Would anyone like to pull an item for discussion or review? Philip.
17M, the certified wellness coach, is that one per every school or one throughout the district?
That's a result of a grant, and I believe that's 6 total positions.
Thank you.
Good question.
You'd like to pull or see? You okay? Everybody good? Okay, so with that, we're going to approve items 17A through 17M. Can I get a motion?
I'll move it.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Our board consent item is item 18. 18A, the approval of meeting minutes for September 10th, 2024. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll move it.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
Abstain.
I abstain.
2 abstain. And our board members, student board members weren't here either. Okay, thank you. 19 is information. We look at A, the first reading of revisions to board policy 5127, graduation ceremonies and activities. 19B, the first reading of revisions to administrative regulations 5125-.2, withholding grades, diploma, or transcripts. 19C, the first reading of a new administrative regulation 3400, management of district assets and accounts. And then D, the first reading of revisions to our board policy 3400, the management of district assets and accounts, OE 8.1. And then 19E is the first reading of revisions to board policy, administrative regulation, and exhibits 1312.3, which is uniform complaint procedures, OE 10. So we declare that the board has and reviewed this information. Okay? Next, number 20, suggestions for future agendas. Do any of us have any suggestions for future agendas at this time? Not at this time? Okay. I will look to the setting of the next board meeting, a regular board meeting on Tuesday, October 8th at 6:00 p.m. Our debrief would start if any of our student board members would like to have any final comments. So thank you all for such a productive evening and all this discussion. There's more to come. And I would like to thank our staff that's here helping us with audio visuals and translating, and our ASL staff. Thank you. All of the people here that are on deck to help with us. So can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll move it.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Meeting adjourned.